What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and in this video, we are finally checking out the brand new Samsung Galaxy A54 5G. This phone, of course, is the latest in Samsung's A series lineup. It's sort of the upper tier A series phone, and over the last few years now, from the A51 to the A52 to last year's A53, it's actually been one of the best-selling Samsung devices worldwide. And for good reason. This is a phone that offers a vast majority of the specs and features and capabilities you'd want in a smartphone for half the price of Samsung's S-series flagship phones. It's an incredible value for the money, and I think once again, this is the phone to buy if you're in the market for a new device and don't want to spend $1,000 on one. So I'm going to fill you in on everything you need to know about the new A54 here. I'll talk about what's new, what's changed, what's remained the same, but first things first, let's just quickly unbox it so I can show you what does and does not come inside the package when you buy one. Now, this phone obviously ships in that super slim, sustainable packaging that Samsung has had on most of their new phones for a few years now, and that's our indication that there's not much inside. And yes, I did ruin this perfectly nice box trying to peel off an ugly sticker, so that's a bummer. Slicing into the box and pulling off the lid, the first thing you get is a little cardboard packet of stuff. Stuck to the outside of it is your SIM ejector tool if you need one, and inside the packet there's about a half dozen different sheets of paper with warranty info and instructions. Talk about being sustainable, there's half a tree's worth of paper here. You also still get a USB-C cable for charging, but no wall plug to charge with it, and no earbuds, no case, nothing else included inside the box with the phone. Here is the A54 5G itself, and I obviously got mine in awesome lime green, and lime green it certainly is. This is a very bright color. The phone also comes in graphite, which is basically black, violet, purple, and white. As far as pricing and availability, this is going to vary a little bit depending on where in the world you live, but generally speaking, the A54 5G is priced around $450 for the 128GB model, sold unlocked directly from Samsung. And it's also already widely available on pretty much all major carriers, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and the prepaid networks. It's definitely a phone that's also going to be offered at discounted pricing if you opt for various service plans or switch to a new network. So do some comparison shopping if you can. Chances are you can get this phone pretty cheap. And I'll leave some links down below in the video description to all the places you can buy it from. And if you're looking for some additional deals on tech, I highly recommend checking out Whatnot. Whatnot is a live online marketplace with rapid-fire auctions on everything from electronics to sports cards, designer goods, collectibles, and a whole lot more. And a lot of these auctions start as low as $1. So you can snag some crazy good deals on a new Samsung device, for example, or a pair of headphones, jewelry, clothes, watches, whatever you're into. And I'm actually going to be selling a bunch of my own tech items live on Whatnot next week, Monday, April 17th at 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll also have a few giveaways too for everyone who tunes in. Download the Whatnot app using the link in the video description below and sign up for an account to get a free $10 credit that you can use to bid on and buy anything you want, even the stuff that I'm auctioning off next week, which will all start at just $1. So don't miss out, download Whatnot, check out next week's live auction, and thanks so much to Whatnot for sponsoring this video. So what's new with the new A54? Well, from the front, not a whole lot, though technically this is a smaller phone compared to last year. At 6.4 inches, it's just a smidge smaller corner to corner. Last year's A53 was 6.5 inches, and we still get relatively slim bezels all around, with a center hole punch selfie camera up top and subtle chin at the bottom. Though interestingly enough, the bezels seem bigger for a decreased screen-to-body ratio of just shy of 83%. Altogether, those minor differences in dimensions don't amount to much, and in the hand, this phone feels just about the same as most other 6+ inch Samsung smartphones. It's a stretch to reach for the far edges, but it's a phone I think most people are used to handling. For the rear, Samsung has flip-flopped back to a glossy finish this year, though it's still a plastic housing like these A-series phones always seem to get. The design has been refreshed slightly, mainly with the cameras, and actually, this phone more closely resembles the S23 now, side by side, aside from the glossy rear cover, these phones look identical. And compared to last year, I do think this new A54 looks a bit more modern and premium. The matte color matching metal-like sides finish off the very flat form factor. And this phone does come with an IP67 water and dust certification, so an accidental splash shouldn't be an issue. Taking a quick look around, nothing on the left side of the phone. On the right, your usual volume buttons and power button. Up top, you've got your dual SIM and SD card tray. Expandable storage sticks around for another year on this phone. You can configure the A54 this year with either 128 or 256 gigs of onboard storage, and here's how much you start with out of the box. About 25% used up right away from Android and the pre-installed apps, but really not much bloatware or junk on this phone, at least with a non-carrier unlocked version. Down at the bottom, the USB-C port for charging, the speaker, and a big old blank spot where a headphone jack could be. Towards the top, the earpiece and secondary speaker are hidden just above the selfie camera, and around back, you guys already saw a triple lens camera setup this year, which I'll go more in depth with in just a bit. As far as the viewing experience is concerned, the slightly smaller 6.4-inch display on this year's A54 is once again a bold, bright, Super AMOLED panel with HDR10 Plus support, 120Hz adaptive refresh rate, but this time around, it's a little brighter, clocking in at a maximum of 1000 nits versus 800 nits of max brightness last year. Now, I think out of everything with this phone, the screen is still one of the top features. This is darn near exactly the sort of screen you get with Samsung's $800 flagship S23. Side by side, most people can't tell the difference, and really this phone has the three main screen features you'd want. AMOLED for that colorful, punchy look with deep blacks and bright colors, 2340 by 1080 resolution for 403 pixels per inch. It's sharp, it's clear. Even if you want to put your eyeballs right up to the screen, there's no pixels to be found. And the adaptive 120Hz refresh rate means that visually this phone looks smooth, and it also feels ultra responsive. It's about as good of a screen as you're going to get nowadays without jumping to a nearly four-figure price tag, and honestly, it continues to be one of the big reasons why this A-series phone is such a good value. And by the way, underneath the display, the A54 once again has that in-display fingerprint sensor, and it is once again not the ultrasonic S-series sensor, just the same optical one we've had for a few years. It seems mostly fine. It still requires like a touch and hold every once in a while, but 95% of the time so far it seems to have worked. There's also Face Unlock, which works perfectly fine, so one way or another you should be able to get in the phone rather quickly. For the out loud listening experience, Samsung seems to have just kept the same dual speaker setup as last year, perfectly fine, but I think a bit tinny and muffled at super high volume. It's best to listen at like 80%, though I can't complain too much. It's still a better setup than many other sub $500 phones that offer one single downward firing speaker. Inside, the new A54 5G is powered by a new processor, Samsung's own mid-range Exynos 1380 paired to the Mali G68 GPU. As I mentioned earlier, you can spec this phone out with 128 or 256 gigs of storage and 6 or 8 gigs of RAM. I have the base model, A54 I suppose, the lower storage and RAM options. Here are the Geekbench scores for those of you who care to compare, but I do have a couple of additional things to say here. First off, this phone ships with Android 13 and Samsung's One UI 5.1 update, so it is an up-to-date software experience out of the box on par with the latest flagships. On top of that, Samsung promises 4 years of major Android updates for this phone and 5 years of security patches. You might recognize that as the same number of updates and years of support as the S-series phones get. And this is another reason why this A-series device is an incredible value. You know for a fact that this phone isn't just going to last 4 to 5 years, it's going to get all the new Android features and updates during that time as well, which means you can stretch that $450 purchase a lot further. You aren't going to miss out on any new software features. And even if you're picky about the processor, this phone doesn't feel slow or underpowered at all. Phones year over year barely feel any faster than their predecessors anyway, But this phone doesn't feel like it's half as good as the $800 or $900 S series. It's fully capable in its own right. I'll certainly put this phone to the test in the coming weeks to see what all it can handle and how it really stacks up against last year's A53 and some other devices too. But generally speaking, these A series phones, especially the higher end ones like this A54, have become devices that are plenty powerful and supported for the long run as well. And just like the latest and most expensive flagship phones, this is a device that you can be confident is good for a number of years. One thing that hasn't changed with the A54 is its battery. We once again get a 5,000 milliamp capacity battery powering this thing, which honestly is plenty big. And I suspect with the latest version of Android and some enhancements to Samsung's battery optimization that this phone will do even better day to day when it comes to longevity. My A53 last year was an all-day device and then some, so I'm expecting this phone to be much of the same. To juice up, the A54 supports up to the 25-watt charging standard, though you'll have to supply the appropriate power plug yourself since Samsung does not. And there's no wireless charging or any other power features to mention. Finally, let's go over the cameras. And this is sort of interesting. The A54 has one less camera lens this year and quite a few less megapixels. So the main camera lens is now back down to a 50 megapixel lens. It was a 64 megapixel shooter on last year's phone. It's paired to seemingly the same 12 megapixel 123 degree ultra wide lens and the same 5 megapixel macro lens for up-close pics. What's missing is the 5 megapixel depth sensor, though this phone still has the portrait picture features, so evidently it wasn't necessary. And the selfie camera up front seems to be the same as well, a 32 megapixel lens. Inside the camera app, there's actually not much else that's changed. Samsung's A series, particularly the higher end ones like the A54, have offered really robust camera features for a while that are not as good as the flagships, but still come pretty close. There's pro photo and video modes, night mode, super slow-mo, hyperlapse, 50 megapixel shooting modes for high detailed images, 4K video recording, and plenty more features and functions that would make just about anyone happy. There's really nothing that's missing at all from this phone. And snapping a few quick sample shots here, I think the phone can deliver just about as good of an image as any device. The selfies are solid. There's nothing that stands out to me as far as the color or clarity. Super sharp, very true to life. The rear lenses take some great shots too, really well balanced, tons of detail. The portrait modes miss the edges still. They're not as good as the flagship phones, obviously, but for the vast majority of folks who just pull out their phone quickly and snap a pic on auto without much thought, this phone is going to get you a great looking shot with very minimal effort. And if you want to take things further with your pictures and videos, you definitely can. I'll have some camera comparisons on the channel soon with this phone, but I'm always pleasantly surprised with just how well these A series phones can shoot nowadays. So when it comes to the new A54 5G, there's really not a ton that's new. It's a new design, slightly smaller but much more modern and very in line with Samsung's S series. The display is a tad brighter, but much of the same viewing experience. The processor is a little more powerful, but besides that, this is certainly more of a minor update to an already great and extremely powerful smartphone. If you have last year's A53, you're not missing much here, but if you've been holding on to an A51 or A52, this might just be the upgrade you've been waiting for. What do you guys think about the new A54? Is this a phone you're considering right now? Do you have it already? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.